you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll be splitting my time with...
Point of order. Another point of order. Points of order. Points of order. Point 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 of order.
Sellout Singh.
Maserati Marxist.
He is not mocking me.
Jagmeet Singh and the NDP finally had the opportunity to present their latest and last opposition motion of this session. And given how the NDP have conducted themselves, especially over the last few months, the Conservatives were determined to make that motion as painful as possible to present. Let's take a look.
Orders of the day, ordre du jour, government orders, business of supply, consideration of an opposition motion on cost of living relief for Canadians, standing in the name of Mr. Singh.
Mr. Singh, seconded by Ms. Barron, moves that given that, 1, Canadians are facing an affordability crisis and need more than temporary relief. 2, the government's $250 working Canadians rebate would exclude many workers and other Canadians who need it the most. 3, le programme de 2021
3. The 2021 Conservative Party platform included a one-time GST holiday. The House call on the government to A. Permanently remove the GST from essential goods, including home heating, grocery, meals, internet and mobile phone bills, diapers, and kids' clothes. B. Expand the rebate to include all adults whose income is under the threshold and did not earn employment income in 2023, so that people like recent graduates trying to enter the workforce, retired seniors, people with disabilities, injured workers, workers on parental leave and long-term sick leave, and others in need are included.
Or that measure by putting in place an excess profit tax targeting the largest and most profitable corporations. Debate the honourable member for Burnaby South.
Bravo. Bravo. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll be splitting my time with the honourable member for Nanaimo, Lady Smith.
Here, here.
Sorry, I have a point of order. The honourable member for sorry, I don't have it here. For Calgary Forest Lawn, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
So that didn't last long. So already there's a point of order from the Conservatives, and Jagmeet Singh hasn't even read one word, never mind one line, one word from his speech. This is setting the tone, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to challenge the admissibility of the motion before us and seek clarity from the Chair in relation to Standing Order 8113. I'll quote directly from the Standing Orders 8113. Opposition motions on allotted days may be moved only by members in opposition to the government and may relate to any matter within the jurisdiction of the Parliament of Canada.
This is so tongue-in-cheek, but it's also funny because it's true. So the standing order that the Conservatives are specifically referencing is essentially saying only an opposition motion can be brought forward from a party that is in opposition to the government. Now, is the NDP an opposition party? Yes, they're technically named as an opposition party, so yes, they're allowed to bring this forward. But this is just to essentially indict the hypocrisy of the NDP by saying, you guys don't oppose the government. You're essentially part of the government, so you technically shouldn't be allowed to bring forth an opposition motion. This little bit of procedural theatrics is brilliant.
Can't hear what the honourable member is. He quoted a standing order. I will listen to his standing order, and I would ask members to please wait until I've had an opportunity to hear a bit more of what the honourable member is putting forward. Could the honourable member just remind me what standing order he was referring?
8113.
Thank you.
On allotted days may be moved only by members in opposition to the government and may relate to any matter within the jurisdiction of the Parliament of Canada, and also may be used for the purpose of considering reports from standing committees relating to the consideration of estimates therein. I would argue that the member moving the motion, who some call the Maserati Marxist, is not eligible to do so because...
The honourable member, I would ask him to be very careful about the wording that he's using.
Now this is I think it's Assistant Deputy Speaker Carol Hughes. Carol Hughes is a member of Parliament for the New Democrat Party, just so everybody knows. And although speakers are supposed to be nonpartisan, and I think in general, Carol is a pretty good speaker. She's fairly nonpartisan. The orange was showing today.
And I would ask him to withdraw and rephrase.
I would argue that the member moving the motion is not eligible to do so.
I remember to first withdraw. Thank you.
Because, strictly speaking, the member does not represent a party in the opposition to the government. He's voted 24 times in favor of the carbon tax scam when 70% of Canadians and 70% of premiers said not to increase the carbon tax scam. He's propped up the government on every vote of confidence along the way so he can protect his $2.2 million pension.
So again, it sounds to me like it's more debate. Is the honourable member saying that they can't move a motion because they are what?
Part of the government.
Well, they are not a part of the government, and the honourable member knows that full well. So therefore, the honourable member's point of order is out of order.
Well, I would argue to Carol Hughes that that's just an opinion, and that's debate that you're saying that they're not part of the government, because they literally have been propping up this government. Are they technically in a coalition? No. Are they technically part of the government? No. And this is where things are coming back to. And I get it. We all know that the perception of this NDP party is they're essentially part of the government. So it's a funny point of order. It's funny because it's technically true, but according to the standing orders, no, it's not. But it was a just hilarious and brilliant try to expose the NDP for the hypocrites that they are.
I do have another point of order. The honourable member of Peterborough, Northumberland. Hold on, I would just wait. I think that you need to wait till the mic is on before you want to speak, so that so everybody can understand. The honourable member for Northumberland, Peterborough South.
I was trying to hear my colleague, and I heard considerable disruption. I would ask that the speaker have control of the right now. This is completely unacceptable.
And so I did rise on a number of occasions to indicate that I was hearing the honourable member, and so I would just again ask members to please be respectful when others have the floor, and I would also ask members to please make sure that when they rise on points of order, that those points of orders are actually legitimate. The honourable member for l'honorable député de Manicouagan.
Honourable member for Manicouagan, on a point of order. Madam Speaker, this will be in line with what you just mentioned. I would like to remind that as Francophones, for us, the interpretation is slower than the spoken words, so we are not really hearing what you're saying when there's overlap, and we're not hearing the interpreter, so it's hard for the interpreter as well. So the same point of order as last Friday, not to you, of course, to Mr. Autremont, to the Speaker. I apologize, we cannot name people by their last name. So I will just ask that if you can remind the House that we also would like to participate in full capacity in the debate. Thank you. I do appreciate this point. It is that time of year that some people maybe would like more to be home than here. But as I was saying last night, I hope that everyone will be respectful and that we will be kinder in the House of Commons, especially today. Honourable member for Burnaby South. Next time people
Thank
get
you,
up
Madam
to speak,
Speaker.
he won't
Madam
speak.
Speaker, one of the things that we've just realized.
Another point of order, the honourable member for Thornhill.
Point.
One order, order, please.
Speaker.
Yep.
Madam Speaker, I'm rising on a question of privilege that I've given you notice of.
And now they're trying to introduce a question of privilege to block Jagmeet Singh from speaking. They are okay. So now here's the thing, folks. Let's just remember in committee, when the Conservatives were questioning during Arrive Can, when the Conservatives were questioning during the SCTC scandal, during the Randy Boissonneau scandal, what did we hear? We heard point of order after point of order after point of order from the Liberals in order to disrupt. Now the shoe's on the other foot, right? So the Conservatives are now issuing point of order after point of order after point of order after obstruction attempt in order to irritate the NDP as much as possible and in order to prevent them for as long as possible and make it as painful as possible to present their motions. So nobody liked it when the Liberals do it. Is it kind of funny when the Conservatives do it? Yeah, but it is still just as, let's just call it, out of order. Just being objective here. But I was laughing my butt off when Melissa Lantsman stood up and started talking about a question of privilege until I heard what it was.
More than an hour.
Just want to say that the honourable member for Burnaby South has started his speech. I will take the points of privilege because after the speech is done, before the questions, it has been the convention. It has been the convention of the House to allow the speech to happen, and then the questions of privilege will be dealt with after the speech. So before the questions to the honourable member for Burnaby South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I have one more point of order, and I hope this is not a challenge to the chair because I have made my decision. The honourable member for South Shore St. Margaret's.
Points of privilege take precedent over everything, and I would ask that...
I've indicated to the honourable...
So this is the Conservatives now trying to, without directly challenging the chair, challenge the chair on the point of order and the question of privilege. Now this is going to be an interesting one because technically questions of privilege are supposed to take precedent over everything. But Carol Hughes is saying it's been the convention of the House that once somebody starts a speech, that speech finishes and then the question of privilege is then resumed.
The conventions of the House is that we let the speech occur. Order. There's debate on both sides. I'm speaking right now. There is the convention of the House is that we allow the honourable member to finish his speech, and then before we get to questions and comments, and I will hear the question of privilege. The honourable member for Thornhill has another point of order.
I have a continuing a point of order. The standing orders state that a question of that you should hear a question of privilege if I've given you the appropriate notice. Madam Speaker, I gave you that appropriate notice this morning, more than an hour ago, and this House should hear a question of privilege, particularly to do with
A challenge to the chair, and I've already indicated that the convention of the House is that we hear the speech, and then we come back to the question of privilege during questions and comments. I would hope that members respect that. The honourable member for Burnaby South.
Here, here.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It seems like the billionaire bootlickers have a concern about the fact that I'm trying to bring forward a motion that calls for tax release, because you learn the Conservatives don't want tax relief for the working class. They want it for their billionaire buddies instead. Right. Yeah. So anytime we talk about tax relief for the working class, they get upset. Yeah. And that's what you just saw right now in the chamber. We'll clip this.
I'm gonna have to. I just noticed that there was a point of order and I missed it. So the honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You've referenced convention of the House. Could you cite any precedent? I've been a member for a long time, and I do follow the procedure, and I'm not aware of a single case previously where a member who has a question of privilege, especially one of the urgent nature being raised, was told that they had to wait. So if there is a convention of the House that I'm not familiar with, I wonder if you could share even a single instance previously where any member raising a matter of this nature has been told, sorry, you have to wait until the convenience of another member who isn't speaking on the matter of privilege is finished. My understanding is, very respectfully, that no such precedents exist. So there's a requirement, I know, to provide an hour notice in advance, but there's also a requirement to raise the issue at the earliest possible opportunity. And in fact, there are cases where speakers, I'm thinking of Speaker Regan, have dismissed questions of privilege simply on the basis that they weren't raised in sufficient time and with sufficient proximity. So members are under an obligation. If they don't follow that rule, then their very serious question of privilege could be dismissed, even if it was a question of privilege deemed to have merit, simply because
Which is not going to be dismissed. The honourable member will have an opportunity to raise that during questions, before questions and comments. The question of privilege that has been put forward isn't with what's going on in the House, and it always has been a practice of this House, and I can come back to the member after on that, but it has been a practice of the House that we allow the speech to occur, and I am going to stick to that, and as I said, I will not take any more challenges to the chair.
So again, very, very valiant and technical attempt by Garnet Jennis, who's obviously dialing in from home or a remote location in order to raise this point of order. He asked that the chair cite any examples. The chair doesn't have to cite examples. And, if I know Carol Hughes, she probably does have some examples in her repertoire where, they've let speeches finish prior to a question of privilege coming in, and she has stated that the question of privilege won't be dismissed. It will be allowed, after the speech is done. So I don't question her on that, but I think that the attempt to delay Jagmeet Singh from presenting his opposition motion is a valiant one from the Conservatives, because they're tired of his hypocrisy, his lies, his two-facedness. Like he is the stereotypical politician. I think he's also probably worse than Justin Trudeau. At least Justin Trudeau, he's always lying. But with Jagmeet Singh, he will say one thing, and then he'll say something else, and then he'll do something in opposition to almost both of those things that he has said. So, you can't really count on him to be consistent at all. Like, in one respect, he'll say, oh, Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are terrible and blah, 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 and they shouldn't be in government. That's true. And then he will say, oh, but I'm still going to support them, and I'm still going to allow them to continue to govern, and I'm not going to vote non-confidence. And you're like, well, wait a minute, what? And then right after that, he'll run to Twitter and say, Justin Trudeau sucks, and, I should be the prime minister. It is so infuriating for people. So the Conservatives were just like, all right, we know you're going to be able to do this, but we're not going to make it easy for you. And here's a sense of how this went.
Point of order. Another point of order. Points of order. Points of order. Point of order. Point of order. He is not mocking me. Point of order. Point of order. Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Sellout Singh.
There's a lot of games being played right now. Another point of order. Another point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Point of order.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Sorry, I have another point of order.
Maserati Marxist to.
We're going to shut this down right now.
So you had point of order after point of order after point of order. That must have been a painful morning session for the speaker, but also for Jagmeet Singh. And, don't feel bad at all. But coming back to the question of privilege, he said I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing my butt off until I heard what it was. And in our next video, we're going to be getting deeper into this. But what this was And after hearing it, I wasn't surprised that this was raised as a point of privilege. The point of privilege was, or the question of privilege rather, was raised due to these protesters illegally, they're not allowed to do this, illegally occupying the lobby of the Confederation building, which is where all the MP offices are. Well, they're not all there. Many of them were there. And it actually was causing fear, and it was causing disruption to the point where there was really significant meetings that were canceled with foreign ambassadors. So this is serious stuff. And what makes it even more serious is that there are multiple reports from multiple mainstream news organizations and from the protesters themselves that the NDP was there. So this is really, really, really bad for the NDP, especially if this question of privilege is ruled as having a prima facie case, meaning, you know, that you take it on its merit, you accept everything that is stated in that case to be true, and it qualifies as a question of privilege, meaning it was impeding or preventing the members of parliament from being able to execute their lawful duties as a member of parliament. And there's a lot of arguments to be made that it is a question of privilege. This isn't just a delay tactic, it is a question of privilege. So we will get into that in our next video, but I'm sure this wasn't fun for Jagmeet Singh and the NDP. But they ended up getting their motion across, and most of it was just slamming the Conservatives. But, you know, anything in order to earn him a couple more days closer to that magical pension of his. NDP party, I hope you had a good run, because you're not even going to be on the map after the next election.